Love after 60. 95% of women are attracted when men do this female psychology of desire. Most older men don't realize they're making one critical mistake that instantly removes them from the attraction circle of 95% of women. It's an invisible flaw, and you repeat it every single day without knowing. I've watched men in their 70s walk into a room and draw attention without uttering a single word. I've seen men with silver hair and weathered hands make women half their age pause, straighten up, and listen with their entire nervous system. And I've also watched men who try too hard, men who talk too much, give too much, explain too much, only to see a woman's interest evaporate like breath on glass. The difference between these men isn't luck. It's something far quieter, far stronger, and far more magnetic: masculine presence. Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's Vernon again. Today, I'm going to reveal the 5 masculine qualities that trigger deep, primal attraction in 95% of women, qualities that have nothing to do with charm or performance, and everything to do with grounded, mature, masculine energy. Before we begin, if you're here to learn the real psychology of desire, emotional connection, and what women truly want, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. My channel is dedicated to helping men over 60 understand attraction, presence, and emotional intelligence in a way that actually works. Let's begin with the first quality, the one that no woman can resist. 1. Emotional stability. Women don't fall for perfection, they fall for safety. And safety doesn't come from how much you protect her from the world, it comes from how well you hold yourself when her world or yours starts to shake. Emotional stability is the foundation of masculine attraction, the quiet strength that says, no matter what happens, I won't break, I won't panic, I won't crumble. Let me give you an example from my own life. A few years ago, I watched a friend of mine, John, a man in his late 60s, handle a situation that would have destroyed most men. His partner was going through a crisis, angry, hurt, and lashing out at him for things that weren't his fault. Most men would have defended themselves, argued back, tried to fix her feelings, or walked away in frustration. But not him. He sat there and listened. He didn't flinch, didn't take it personally. He just held the space. And when she was done, when the storm had passed, she looked at him with tears in her eyes and said, "Thank you for not leaving." That's emotional stability. Not about being emotionless, but about being unshakable, like the tree that bends in the wind but never breaks. Women are drawn to this like gravity, because when a woman knows you won't react, won't panic, won't collapse under pressure, she feels safe. And safety is the gateway to attraction. Think about it. When everything in her life feels chaotic, and she looks at you and sees calm, what does that do to her nervous system? It relaxes, it opens, it trusts. You become her refuge, not because you solve her problems, but because you don't add to them. A calm man in a storm is more powerful than a loud man in silence. When was the last time you stayed calm when someone you cared about was upset? Drop your experience in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. But here's the thing. Even emotional stability means nothing if a man reacts like a storm. 2. Non-reactivity. There's a difference between acting and responding, and most men have never learned it. Reacting is instant, emotional, driven by fear or insecurity. It's the text message you send at 2 a.m. when she hasn't replied, the raised voice when she questions your decision, the defensiveness when she challenges your perspective. Responding is measured, thoughtful, grounded in your own center. It's the pause before you speak, the breath before you act, the silence that carries more weight than 1,000 words. I'll tell you about my friend Marcus, a man who learned this lesson the hard way. Marcus is 68 now, sharp as a blade, but back in his 50s he was what you'd call reactive. When a woman he was dating would cancel plans, he'd immediately assume the worst: she's losing interest, she's seeing someone else, she's playing games. He'd fire off messages, demand explanations, create drama where there was none. And every single time, without fail, the woman would pull away. Not because she didn't like him, but because his reactivity made her feel suffocated, unsafe, like she was walking on eggshells. Then one day, Marcus met a woman who changed everything. She was testing him subtly, as women do, by being unpredictable, sometimes warm, sometimes distant. The old Marcus would have spiraled, but something in him had shifted. He decided to try something radical: do nothing. When she didn't text back for a day, he didn't double text. When she was distant at dinner, he didn't interrogate her. He just stayed present, stayed calm, stayed himself. And you know what happened? Within a week, she leaned in closer than she'd ever been. She later told him, "You're the first man who didn't need me to reassure him every 5 minutes. That made me want to be closer to you." Non-reactivity is not indifference, it's self-control. It's the ability to feel the emotion without letting it control you, to notice the urge to defend yourself without actually defending, to sit with discomfort without rushing to fix it. Women find this unbearably attractive because it signals emotional maturity, self-sufficiency, and most importantly, that you're not needy. And nothing kills attraction faster than neediness. There's an old Stoic idea I love: a man who holds his center when everything around him trembles becomes the kind of man everyone gravitates toward. And once a man stops reacting, he becomes her calm place. 3. Comfort with tension. Tension is not the enemy of attraction. It's the fuel. Sexual tension, emotional tension, the silence that hangs in the air between two people, these moments are where desire is born. But most men are terrified of tension, so they rush to break it, fill the silence with nervous chatter, explain away the intensity, and in doing so, they kill the very thing that was drawing her in. Imagine this moment for a second. You're sitting across from a woman, and the conversation hits a natural pause. The eye contact lingers just a second longer than comfortable. You feel the pull, the electricity, the tension. In that moment, most men panic. They look away, crack a joke, ask another question, anything to escape the discomfort. But the man who understands attraction, he holds the gaze, lets the silence breathe, and smiles ever so slightly, as if to say, "I know what's happening here, and I'm not afraid of it." That tension, that unspoken charge, is what makes a woman's heart race. It's what makes her think about you hours later, replay the moment in her mind, wonder what it would be like to close the distance between you. But you can't create that if you're constantly running from discomfort. Comfort with tension means you're comfortable with her feeling something, with you feeling something, without needing to resolve it immediately. Women test for this quality constantly, often without even realizing it. She'll say something provocative to see if you'll scramble to defend yourself. She'll create space to see if you'll desperately try to fill it. She'll be quiet to see if you can be quiet with her. And in those moments, the man who can sit with the tension, who doesn't need to fix or explain or perform, becomes infinitely more attractive than the man who breaks under the weight of silence. Think about the difference between a man who immediately texts, "Are you okay?" when she's briefly distant, versus a man who gives her space and trusts that she'll come to him when she's ready. The first man reveals his insecurity, his inability to tolerate uncertainty. The second man demonstrates confidence, patience, and the understanding that not every moment needs to be resolved. Women feel this difference in their bodies. One creates anxiety, the other creates intrigue. Tension is also the space where flirtation lives, where chemistry builds, where a woman feels truly alive in your presence. It's the pause before a kiss, the moment when hands almost touch but don't quite, the conversation that dances around what both people are really feeling. This is not manipulation or playing games, it's the natural rhythm of attraction, the push and pull that makes desire sustainable rather than instant and fleeting. But you have to be willing to sit in that fire without flinching, to let the moment unfold without controlling it, to trust that the discomfort is actually creating something beautiful. Most men want to rush to comfort, to certainty, to "where is this going?" conversations. But the man who can hold the question mark, who can let the story write itself, who can be present in the unknown, that's the man who stays in her mind long after he's gone. Rilke once hinted that longing grows in the space between two truths, what is said and what is still silent. A man who can hold that silence becomes the source of desire. If this video is helping you understand attraction in a new way, hit that share button and help another man discover his power. But attraction needs more than energy. It needs direction. 4. Assertiveness. There's a fine line between assertiveness and aggression, and most men either cross it or never reach it at all. Assertiveness is not about dominating or controlling. It's about leading with clarity. It's the ability to make a decision without apology, to state your preference without needing approval, to guide without forcing. Women are drawn to this not because they want to be told what to do, but because they want to feel that the man beside them has a direction, a purpose, a spine. Let me tell you about my friend David, 65 years old, retired engineer, one of the most naturally assertive men I know. When David takes a woman to dinner, he doesn't ask her to choose the restaurant and then second-guess her choice. He says, "I know a place I think you'll love, let's try it tonight." Not a command, but a suggestion delivered with quiet confidence. And if she says she'd prefer something else, he listens, adjusts, but he still leads the conversation. He opens doors, he chooses the table, he orders wine with the ease of a man who's comfortable making decisions. And women respond to this like flowers to sunlight. But here's what David taught me. Assertiveness without empathy is just arrogance. The key is to lead in a way that makes her feel included, not diminished. "I'm thinking we could drive up the coast this weekend. What do you think?" That's assertiveness with space for her voice. "We should leave by 8 a.m. to beat the traffic." That's clarity. "I'll handle the planning. You just show up." That's leadership. None of this requires dominance, just the ability to hold a frame and move forward with intention. Most men struggle with this because they're afraid of being rejected or labeled controlling. So they defer every decision to the woman, asking, "What do you want to do? And where do you want to go?" So many times that she starts to feel like she's dating a passenger, not a partner. And here's the truth women won't always say out loud. They want you to take the lead sometimes, not because they can't decide for themselves, but because it's exhausting to always be the one steering. When a man steps up with gentle assertiveness, it's a relief, it's attractive, it's masculine. Lead with strength, listen with humility, and she will follow you into the unknown with trust in her heart. Think about your own relationships. When was the last time you made a clear decision without overthinking it? Share your thoughts below. Your story might inspire someone else. And yet, none of these qualities matter if a man doubts himself. 5. Self-validation. The most attractive man in any room is not the richest, the tallest, or the most charming. He's the man who doesn't need anyone else to tell him he's enough, because he already knows it in his bones. Self-validation is the cornerstone of masculine presence, the unshakable belief that your worth is not up for debate, not dependent on a woman's approval, not contingent on external success. It's the quiet certainty that says, "I am who I am," and that is more than sufficient. The man who seeks validation will change himself to fit what he thinks she wants. He'll hide his opinions, agree with everything she says, mold himself into whatever shape he believes will earn her affection. And ironically, this is precisely what repels her. Because a woman doesn't want a mirror, she wants a mountain, something solid, unmovable, real. She wants to know that the man she's with would be exactly the same whether she loved him or left him. This is why men who are too agreeable, too accommodating, too eager to please often find themselves in the friend zone or quietly fading from her interest. Self-validation means you don't need her to text you back to feel good about yourself. You don't need her to say, "I love you," to believe you're lovable. You don't need her to choose you to know you're worthy. You live your life, pursue your passions, maintain your standards, and if she wants to join you, the door is open, but you won't shrink yourself to fit through hers. This is not arrogance, it's integrity. It's the refusal to betray yourself for the temporary comfort of someone else's approval. Think about how this shows up in everyday interactions. When a woman cancels plans, the self-validated man doesn't spiral into, "What did I do wrong?" or "Is she losing interest?" He simply accepts it, moves on with his day, and remains open to rescheduling without attaching emotional drama to it. When she expresses a different opinion, he doesn't rush to change his mind to match hers. He respects her perspective while holding his own. When she tests him with criticism or distance, he doesn't defend or pursue desperately. He remains grounded in his own value. This quality becomes even more powerful as you age, because by 60, you've accumulated enough life experience to know who you are beyond any single relationship. You've survived losses, weathered storms, built a life that doesn't depend on any one person's validation. This gives you a gravitational pull that younger men, still seeking approval from the world, simply cannot match. Women sense this depth, this self-possession, and they're drawn to it like metal to a magnet. The less you need her validation, the more she wants to give it. The moment you stop performing for her approval is the moment she starts chasing yours. Because self-validated men are rare, and in their presence women feel something they rarely experience: the freedom to be themselves without the burden of managing a man's fragile ego. When you don't need her to complete you, she can choose to be with you from desire rather than obligation, and that changes everything. When you validate yourself, you free her to feel genuine attraction rather than obligation or pity. You become the prize, not because you're perfect, but because you're authentic. And in a world full of men performing, pretending, and pandering, authenticity is irresistible. Save this video and come back to it whenever you need to reset your presence. These 5 traits will anchor you every time. By now, you know the 5 masculine traits women find irresistible. They're the natural expression of a man who has done the work, who has lived enough life to know who he is and what he stands for. When a man masters his presence, something shifts in the universe around him. He doesn't chase affection. Affection comes to him. He doesn't beg for attention. Attention finds him. He doesn't prove his worth. His worth proves itself in every conversation, every glance, every moment of silence he's comfortable holding. This is the power of mature masculine energy, and it doesn't fade with age. If anything, it deepens, becomes richer, more potent, more real. I want to hear from you. Share your experience in the comments. Tell me about a time when you held your ground, stayed calm in chaos, or stopped seeking validation and felt the shift in how people responded to you. Your story might be exactly what another man needs to hear to find his own confidence and magnetic presence. Don't forget to like this video. Subscribe to my channel for more wisdom on attraction, emotional intelligence, and living powerfully after 60. And check the description for additional resources on masculine presence and deep connection. And I'm Vernon. Thanks for watching till now, and see you in the next video.